Guys, what I wanted to talk to you about, like I mentioned, is the concept, the phenomenon of vacuum. And vacuum plays a huge role in your life. It plays a huge role in your business. And it's something that is top of mind. One of my students were talking about it in the group, and it became top of mind. This is something that one of my first mentors many, many years ago brought attention to myself. He gave me a couple of books to read about it, and it's something that he used time and time and again to continually grow and predictably and consistently grow his business. But it can relate to all aspects of life. Now, vacuums, what are they? And by vacuum, I don't mean the thing that you clean your house with or whatever it might be. By vacuum, I mean, the concept of nothingness. The concept of nothingness. So vacuums don't exist in all aspects of life, in the universe, anyway. Vacuums don't necessarily exist, and if they do exist, they don't exist for long. Their whole purpose, vacuum's whole purpose, is to fill the vacuum with something, with matter, with whatever it might be. And I'll relate this back to, without going too scientific, I'll show you how this relates straight back to your life, and then I'll show you how this relates to your business and could either be constraining your growth, blocking or putting a ceiling to your growth in your business, or alternatively, you can use this and flip it on its head and help you grow your business consistently. So first and foremost, how to relate it back into real life so it makes total sense. Now, vacuums. When someone, for example, buys a new house, if you're living in a smaller unit or whatever it might be, and you go and buy a bigger unit, or you go buy a bigger house where you have more space, space is the vacuum. All of a sudden, you were living in a smaller place, you had enough furniture, for example, or whatever it might be. This is the example I'm going to give because it's quite an easy one to understand. Now, if you buy a bigger place, when you're in your smaller place, you had enough furniture, you have enough things to fill the space and make it feel full. But as soon as you buy a bigger place, all of a sudden, what's the next step that people do when they buy a bigger place? And they don't think about this. They buy a bigger place, buy a nicer place, and all of a sudden the next week, what are they doing? They're going to the furniture shop because they're thinking, oh, I've got an empty corner, I've got an empty room, I've got an empty floor, or what? I've got empty cupboards, whatever it might be. So all of a sudden, guys, you create a vacuum in your life that needs to be filled. And in this analogy that I'm giving you, people fill it with furniture, stuff and things that they don't necessarily need. But you've created that vacuum, you've created that space with nothingness. So subconsciously, what you want to do is fill it. Now, relating this back to business and how you can either use this to, or you might be using this right now to put a ceiling to your growth and creating a constraint. Or alternatively, you can flip it on its head and how you can use this powerful concept to grow. Now, my mentor, one of my first mentors, what he used to do in his office, in his space, when he wanted his business to grow, he put more empty chairs in his office. And I'll explain. I'll say that again. What that means. So what he would do is he would have an office space, and as soon as it was full, he had no more space to fill. So he was creating a false ceiling to his business growth. He wasn't subconsciously wanting to grow it and fill it with more space. So what he would do is he would go out and rent a space next door or expand the space and buy 5-10 chairs. And every day when he would walk in, he would see that empty space, he would see those empty chairs, and subconsciously he wanted to fill it with more people, with more employees. And as a result, the more employees he had, not in all businesses, but in this business specifically, the more heads he had, the bigger his overheads were, which made him obviously grow, get more profit, get more revenue, and all those sort of things. So he was creating a vacuum. He was creating a vacuum, a subconscious vacuum that he continually, every day when he walked in, he saw those empty seats, subconsciously was thinking about, how can I fill them? How can I fill them? And then once again, as soon as he filled those seats, he'd do the same thing again and again and again. And unfortunately, there are a lot of people there in business who create the ceiling, they create the block, they've filled the vacuum, and they never create another vacuum to fill. And as a result, they hit a capacity. If it's a space and you can't fill it with any more staff, if it's a space you can't fill it with any more clients, then you're not going to subconsciously be trying to force yourself to get more clients, for example. Now, The example that made this top of mind and why I wanted to do this video is one of my clients was talking about how they had software. They could only service so many clients, let's just say 50 clients. You have a software subscription that only allows you to service 50 clients at a time. Once you hit those 50 clients, subconsciously, what are you doing? There is no vacuum left. Subconsciously, you're thinking, okay, cool. I'm just going to wait till one client leaves. Then I've got 49. I'll get one more client. I'll get 50. But you're never thinking about getting the 51st client. You're never thinking about getting the 52nd client. You're never thinking about getting the 60th, 70th, 80th. And so how would you create a vacuum in that actual specific format to create subconscious growth? Upping your level of your subscription rather than doing it one at a time. You know, maybe you get your 51st client, you might jump up one or whatever it might be. What a real good business operator would do is go, okay, I've hit 50. I went from 30, I went to 40, I went to 50. Why can't I get to 60? Why can't I get to 70? And so rather than sitting at that cap, they would force themselves and create a vacuum and up their subscription to allow them to be able to service 60 clients at any given time, active all at once. And then as a result, subconsciously, every day you're going to walk in, you're going to go, okay, well, how am I going to get my 51st, my 52nd, my 53rd, all the way up to 60? Once I hit that cap again, take the next leap before the clients come. You're creating a vacuum, and as a result, the clients will come because you're subconsciously forcing yourself to start asking yourself better questions, to being more efficient, to attracting and converting those clients rather than going, yep, I'm at my ceiling. I'm just going to wait till I drop down and then fill it back up, drop down, fill it back up. Create that vacuum, and then you'll want to fill that vacuum. Now, the negative format, like I talked about in business, is some people create that ceiling and they never go above it. They never create that next vacuum. Alternatively, in life, as I mentioned before, people create vacuums for things that they don't need, shit that they don't need, stuff. You know, you might be happy in your life, you might have enough stuff, but then as soon as you go and you get the bigger car, the bigger house, whatever it might be, you're then going to go, your expenses are going to go up because you want to fill it with more stuff. So rather than using your finances to buy stuff and creating a vacuum to waste money on buying stuff, look, it's all good to want to get a bigger house. It's all good to get a bigger car, bigger backyard, bigger whatever it might be. That's cool. And that's a lifestyle decision. But do it consciously. Don't let it take advantage of you. Don't let the power work in reverse. If you want to get a bigger place and you know consciously, hey, that means I'm going to fill it with more stuff and I know what the costs are going to be, and that's cool because my business is rocking, the income's there, and I have the capacity, the financial capacity to do that. You've got costs and you've got investments. Investments is where you put your funds to make back more money. And that's business. That's investing. But buying a house and filling it with furniture, a new chair, a new bed, new desk, whatever it might be, they're costs. They never bring back a reward, a financial multiplication on your initial investment. So if you've got enough money, rock and roll, cool. That's, you know, if that's what's important in your life, awesome. But remember, you should be using your funds to invest rather than as a sunk cost. The more you use your funds as an investment, the more money you make, and then you can go and buy the things that you want to buy thereafter. But you need to be making the money in the first place. If you've only got a certain amount of cash, put that into investment, turn it into that much, rather than creating a vacuum of costs. Hopefully that makes sense. If anyone wants to ask any questions on that, just comment down below. If there's anything you want me to clarify on that, comment down below. And no doubt, if you think about your own personal life, there's been times where you've created vacuums and unconsciously created those vacuums and then had to fill them and created more costs in your life and moved yourself further and further away from being able to have those free funds for investment to actually get you to where you want to be in your life financially. So no doubt people have experienced that. Hopefully the analogy makes sense. Vacuums, I wanted to take you through that. There's another concept called the law of constraints. I'm not going to go through that specifically, but vacuums, the phenomenon of vacuums, create the vacuum, it will be filled. It will be filled with something. So in essence, for business, if you want to scale up, if you want to level up, if you want to go to that next level, if you're here, create that vacuum above yourself, and lo and behold, you'll see it get filled, and that'll take you to the next level. Do it again, again, and again, and you look back 6 months' time from now and go, geez, how did I come this far? It's because you created those vacuums, it's because you broke down those false growth ceilings and took it to the next step. So hopefully that makes sense, guys. Utilize that concept, utilize that power for you rather than against you. And once you understand the concept, that is when you can start to use it for you rather than letting it work against you unconsciously, if that makes sense. Now, use that in your business, whether it's face-to-face, whether it's online, whatever that might be. You can use it in your personal life, relationships, whatever it might be. It works in all aspects of your life. Vacuums. Now you understand that concept, I want you to take action on that. I want you to think about what you can do right now. Take a minute, think about right now the one thing you can do specifically in your business to create a growth vacuum. Think about that, write that down, take action on that this week, and see your business grow. That's it from me. Bye for now.